てゆく背中に向かって手を振った Okay. Hello and welcome to my Kaze mo Sora mo Kitto translation Japanese tutorial. In this video, I'm going to teach you Japanese grammar and vocabulary through the song lyrics of the Sailor Stars ending theme song Kaze mo Sora mo Kitto. And hey, even if you're not interested in learning Japanese necessarily, but you're like, you really love the song and you want to know like all the intricacies of like exactly what it means with like extensive translator notes, then hey, you've come to the right place. So while Sailor Star's song, the opening theme song of this series, is like really hopeful and inspirational and like, I will find you, you will be mine, I will get you back, and everybody has their own star, this song is more about regret. And Seiya x Usagi shippers, I think, would kind of like this song and would like it if it were canon. If this is Usagi singing to Mamoru if she left him or something and then went for Seiya instead. But yeah, the song lyrics always confused me a little bit. They didn't really seem to fit. But I like the song. It's a cool song. Anyway, let's get started. 人混みに消えてゆく. 人混み is a crowd. Ni is the particle, like in this case it means to, so to the crowd. Kiete yuku, so kiete or kieru is disappear, and then yuku, it's like I'm the speaker. If I'm describing that someone is kiete yuku, it means that that person is disappearing away from me. If I have the suffix kuru, it means that this verb is happening sort of towards me, the speaker. But since she used iku, it means that the verb is happening sort of away from her, the speaker. So, disappearing away from me into the crowd. 背中に向かって手を振った. So, 背中 is a back of a person. に向かって, so X ni mukau is to turn towards X. So in this case, X is senaka, the back. So turning towards your back. Te o futta, I waved. So those two lines together, my translation, as you disappeared into the crowd, I waved goodbye to your back. 昨日までが So this made means up until. So up until yesterday. Uso mitai ni mieru. This mitai is like, it's a making an analogy, or like it seems that. Uso mitai, it's like it seems like a lie. It seems like it didn't even happen. Ni mieru. So this something or another ni mieru means it looks as though, or it seems like. So we've got this like double, it seems like. Ni mieru and mitai, it's like, it seems like. Everything that happened up until yesterday is a lie. I translated that as all the days leading up to this now seem like they were a lie. 涙出るほど笑って手をつないで見つめ合えば 涙出るほど笑って So 涙出る namida is tears, deru is to leave, to exit. So tears exiting. That's kind of a fancy way of just saying crying. Verb hodo verb A hodo verb B means to verb B so hard that verb A happens, basically. So in this case, our verb B is laughing. So we laugh so hard that hodo, we cry. We'd laugh so hard, we'd cry. There's no pronouns, but I'm assuming, based off of context, that it's we. It could have just been me, the singer. 手をつないで見つめ合えば. So 手をつないで means to hold hands. 見つめ合う, it's two verbs clunked together. 見つめる is to gaze, and then 合う is to like do that verb kind of like with another person, like in concert with another person. You'll often see 合う as a helper verb. At the end of lots of verbs. It's one of those helper verbs that just shows up a lot. So mitsumeau is to like gaze into each other's eyes. Mitsumeru is just to gaze, but we don't know where. But mitsumeau is something you do with a partner, and it's like me and a partner are mitsumeauing. We are gazing into each other's eyes. So even without pronouns, we know that there's her and there's somebody else and they're gazing into each other's eyes. So, 涙出るほど笑って we'd laugh so hard we'd cry. 手をつないで見つめ合えば. So this 合えば ending, it means like if, or whenever we would hold hands and gaze into each other's eyes. I reworded that though, because it sounds a little bit weird in English. So we'd laugh so hard we'd cry, then we'd hold hands and gaze into each other's eyes, and hey, that kind of rhymes. も匂い胸を切なくした。So the song lyrics are いつも匂い胸を切なくした which sounds kind of weird actually. It's missing a pronoun and the background singers sing it. So it's いつも and then the singers go あなたの匂いかすかに. So I'm going to put in the backup singers' verbs because it actually helps the lyrics. So かすかに is like a little bit faintly. いつも always あなたの匂い your scent, your smell. かすかに faintly 胸を切なくした So 切ない is painful. 切なくする is to make painful. So and your scent always made my heart ache a little. Whenever we'd gaze into each other's eyes and hold hands and laugh so hard that we cried. So it's kind of like one big long complete thought that I separated into 3 separate thoughts.
わがままもしたしつまらない喧嘩もした
わがままもしたしつまらない喧嘩もした So this particle she is like you're giving a reason for something. It's like X among other things. So わがままもした わがまま is to be selfish. する わがままする to be selfish. わがままもした I was selfish. She I was selfish among other things. つまらない喧嘩もした So this particle mo is also being like, well, I did this bad, and I did this bad, and I did this bad, so, you know. So, つまらない is boring or trivial in this case. Kenka is a fight, an argument, a squabble. So, わがままもしたし I was selfish sometimes, and we also fought over trivial things.
会えなくなる日が来ることも知らないで
会えなくなる日が来ることも知らないで It's really hard to like say this without the cadence of singing. 会えなくなる So 会えない is to not be able to see in person somebody else. 会えなくなる to become unable to see someone. He. So the day when I would be unable to see you or we would be unable to see each other が来る So that a day where we would not be able to see each other again would come. ことも知らないで So this こと at the end of 会えなくなる日が来ること the fact that こと we would never the day would come where we would never be able to see each other again も知らないで So the de at the end in this case is like unbeknownst 知らないで unbeknownst to us sort of like while not knowing basically that the day would come, the fact that the day would come where we would not be able to see each other ever again. So it translated that mess as little did we know a day would come when we would never see each other again. So as you can see, if this is Usagi singing to Mamo-chan, the Seiya X Usagi shippers would love this song. So chorus.
あの日追いかけて気持ちのすべてを打ち明けたら
Anohi oikakete. So anohi, that day, that fateful day, often is what anohi means in this case. Oikakete, oikakeru is to chase after. So oikakete. That day, if I had chased after you, or if I'd chased after you that day, kimochi no subete o uchiaketa ra. So uchiakeru is to open up, to reveal, to open up to someone. Uchiaketara, if I had or if I opened up to you, kimochi no subete wo. So kimochi, feelings, subete, everything. So all of my feelings, wo. So it's an object. All of my feelings are an object because I'm using particle wo. So if I had opened up, and if I'd opened up my heart to you, is how I translated that. If I'd opened up all of my feelings to you.
風も空もまだ二人だけを包んでた
Kaze mo sora mo, sort of like the title of the song, but not quite. Kaze mo sora mo mada. So mada is still. Kaze is the wind and sora is the sky. So then the sky and the wind would still something. 二人だけを包んでた So 二人だけ just the two of us, just you and me, no one else. を so we are an object, just you and I are an object. 包んでた So tsutsumu is like to wrap up, to bundle up. It doesn't sound right in English. It's one of those verbs that like it sounds poetic and cool in Japanese, but not really in English. Usually just to embrace is kind of a better way of translating that in this case. Tsutsundeta means like the kaze mo and the sora, so the wind and the sky would still be embracing us, just the two of us, if I chased after you that day and opened up my heart to you. Then we'd still be together right now, and the wind would still be like embracing us. So I translated that whole chorus as, that day if I chased after you and if I'd opened up my heart to you, then we would still be together now, embraced by the wind and sky. In this case, I flip-flopped those lines. If I went literally, it would be like, then the wind and sky would still be embracing us. I don't know, I don't like that hanging ellipses in between a line in a song. I prefer to like make it a complete thought and then another complete thought sometimes, just, yeah, because it sounds better.
明日のことを思ったら気持ちが少し前も向く
明日のことを思ったら So 明日のこと is like about tomorrow. Wo, so it's an object. Omottara, if I thought, if I think about tomorrow, basically. Kimochi ga skoshi mae o muku. So mae o muku is to like, literally is to turn forward, but it's like to be optimistic, to like become forward thinking, to stop being a doomer. Kimochi ga, so my feelings, skoshi, a little bit, becoming positive. So those two lines I translated as, if I turn my thoughts to the future, then my mood becomes a little more positive.
Hey, Sarah from the future speaking. So I forgot to add in the backup vocals for this verse. There are some missing backup vocals, and that will affect the translation a little bit, so pay attention to the on-screen notes.
Kitto tsuzuku michi o aruite yukou. Kitto, surely. Tsuzuku michi is a thought all of its own. Michi is path. Tsuzuku is continuous way. This path that is continuing, basically. Wo aruite yukou. So something wo aruku is like, you usually would think it's like something de aruku to perform the action of walking at a location. But you can michi wo aruku, to walk a path, like to walk the length of a path is kind of what that particle wo is doing. Aruite yukou, so again this yukou or yuku verb after aruku, aruite yuku, is like I'm going to walk and I'm going to continue walking. I'm going to go forth walking, and it's the volitional form, let's do this, because it's yukou instead of yuku. So I translated that as, so I'll walk down this path, I know it will take me somewhere. Kitto tsuzuku michi, this surely path that will surely continue. It sounds kind of weird in English, so it's a path that I know it'll take me somewhere.
一人きりになった会いたい夜につないだ
Hitorikiri ni natta. Hitorikiri is like all alone, all by myself. Ni natta. So I've become all by myself because we broke up, basically. 会いたい夜につないだ言葉のラインも今はもう届かない. So that's like one super long thought, even though it's two lines lyrically. So 会いたい夜 is nights yoru on which I want to see you. 会いたい. Aitai also, I like to think of it as I miss you, or nights where I long for you, rather than I want to see you. It's really more a painful sort of, aitai, oh, I miss you so much. It's more that kind of feel to it. So aitai yoru, on nights when I miss you, basically. Ni, tsunaida kotoba mo lain mo.
言葉のラインも今はもう届かない
Words or lines that would connect to tsunaida, nights in which I missed you, basically. So the words or the lines that would connect to the nights on which I wanted to see you but couldn't. Ima wa mo todokanai. So ima wa, right now, mo todokanai. If you have this mo followed by a negative verb, it's like not gonna do this verb anymore, or can't do this verb anymore. So mo todokanai, it will never reach you anymore. Ima wa, right now, it'll never reach you anymore. So All that whole bridge right there. I'm all alone now. The words I longed to tell you on nights when I missed you will never reach you now. So I split those two lines up kind of differently where they were split up in the lyrics just so that they would flow a little better in English.
あの日抱きしめた幸せを決して忘れないで
Anohi, we have Anohi a lot in this song. That day, that fated day. Anohi, 抱きしめた幸せを決して忘れないで So I think you could think of this as two thoughts. Anohi dakishimeta, period. That day, dakishimeta, I hugged you, period. Shiawase o keshite wasurenai de. Shiawase, happiness. Keshite, definitely under no circumstances. Wasurenai de, I will never forget. So that day I hugged you. I will definitely never forget the happiness I felt. You could think of that as two separate sentences, or you could actually connect it into one super sentence. あの日抱きしめた幸せ, the happiness, the joy of hugging you. See, it can connect to one big long thought. But again, since it's song lyrics, it's kind of a little bit better to keep them separate. So I translate it as, the way I hugged you back then, I will never, ever forget how happy I was.
とても好きになったあの時の自分で
Here are two lines, though, that they have to go together and to make one complete thought. とても好きになったあの時の自分でいいよ. So, if you just look at とても好きになった by itself, that could be a sentence. とても is very. 好きになった fell in love, came to love, basically. So it could be like, I came to love you, period, if it's on its own. However, it continues, あの時の自分でいいよ. So, 好きになった自分 is really what this is. 好きになったあの時の自分. So, あの時の自分 is the me that I was that day, あの日. So, 好きになった自分, the me of that day, the me that I was, あの日, that day, I fell in love with me. The me that day, not you, not the person I'm singing the song to. Deいよ. So let me stay, remain, いよ, let me remain the me that I was that day that I fell in love with so much is kind of what that whole two line is saying. So I translated that as, I became a person that I truly love, period. And I want to stay that way, period. Again, broke it into two lines just so that it's easier and you don't have this super run-on sentence in the lyrics.
あの日夢見てたあなたの瞳を忘れないで
Anohi, again, that day. 夢見てた. So 夢見る is to dream. 夢見てた was dreaming or dreamed. あなたの瞳を忘れないで. So あなたの瞳, your eyes. 忘れないで, won't forget your eyes, basically. And again, you could look at this as two sentences. あの日夢見てた. That day I dreamed, period. あなたの瞳を忘れないで. I will never forget the look in your eyes. However, I do think that these two lines connect to form one long sentence. あの日夢見てたあなたの瞳を忘れないで. So 夢見てたあなたの瞳, your eyes, which were dreaming. I think that's what it is, actually. I think it's connected. So the dreamy look in your eyes back then, I will never forget it.
風も空もきっと悲しみを消してくれる
Kaze mo sora mo kitto, title of the song. So surely, or I know that the wind and the sky, both the wind and the sky, kaze mo sora mo kitto, 悲しみを消してくれる. So 悲しみ is sadness. So it's our object because it has a wo after it. So our sadness. 消してくれる. So 消す or 消して is to extinguish. くれる, if you're adding that helper くれる verb to the end of a verb, if I'm the speaker, I'm saying it about, in this case, I'm saying it about the wind and the sky. It's the wind and the sky are going to do this verb for my benefit because I'm adding the くれる suffix. So surely both the wind and the sky will do me the favor of くれる extinguishing 消して 悲しみを my sadness. So I know that the wind and the sky will wipe my tears dry. That's how I translated that. So this is like a kind of a looking back with a little bit of regret, but hey, I learned something and I became a better person kind of song. I like it. It's a nice song. And it's kind of not in the spirit of a lot of Sailor Moon songs. A lot of other Sailor Moon songs are more like, I don't know, I love you. Or you broke my heart, now I'm gonna get revenge. This is very mature, actually. And I guess that makes sense because Usagi's 16 in the final season. Anyway, you just repeat choruses twice and then you're done with the song. So that was my little breakdown of Kaze mo Sora mo Kitto. If you want to see more videos like this, I have a few more other song translation breakdowns on this channel. I also have a series where I break down episodes of Sailor Moon one word at a time and teach Japanese in the translation process that way. And I also have, if that doesn't do it for you, 80 plus videos where I go through both Genki textbooks and teach Japanese grammar in a very structured way, like a textbook would. And if you liked this, but you want it in a printed email form, you can join at as low as $2 on Patreon, and I have a couple song translation groups where I send monthly song breakdowns of either a Sailor Moon song or any other Japanese song that the other patrons at that tier vote on, and I send you a written version of this kind of translation breakdown, one word at a time, explaining how I translate it. So if that kind of thing sounds appealing to you, consider supporting me. And on that note, thank you to all of the patrons who support this and other series on this channel. And I hope to see you again soon, maybe. 月の光は愛のメッセージ.